we are kicking things off with an absolute sensation in baseball. Brewers ace Jacob Misiorowski continues his unprecedented run, delivering 8 strikeouts in 6 scoreless innings against the Chicago Cubs. This pitcher is dominating, and we dive into how he is setting a new benchmark for pitching dominance in the league right now. And the league's standard response to such interactions. Finally, we pull back to examine a quiet weakness in the Chicago Cubs lineup. We break down how Ian Happ's performance in scoring position has been a massive disappointment, and what the team's difficult choices are now regarding who should take over as the cleanup hitter. Stay with us for the rest of the show. Milwaukee Brewers ace Jacob Misiorowski delivered a dominant performance against the Chicago Cubs on Tuesday, continuing an unprecedented run of success with 8 strikeouts in 6 scoreless innings. Despite facing division rivals, Misiorowski kept the Cubs off the board, allowing only 3 hits and 1 walk, resulting in a strong performance that contributed to a 5-2 Brewers victory. His current season ERA stands at 1.89 across 10 starts, and he leads MLB with 88 strikeouts for the season. Misiorowski's velocity profile on Tuesday was notable, featuring a maximum velocity of 101.5 mph, an average fastball velocity of 99.9 mph, and an average slider velocity of 94.4 mph. This performance follows 2 previous starts where he threw some of the fastest pitches in MLB history, hitting speeds up to 103 mph, which are cited as the hardest pitches thrown by a starting pitcher since StatCast tracking began in 2008. While the velocity has seen some adjustment, the overall impression is that Misiorowski has evolved from a promising young pitcher with high velocity to one of the elite pitchers in baseball. He is currently positioned as a contender in the NL Cy Young race, joining other pitchers posting dominant starts. However, concerns regarding his health persist. History is often harsh on starters who consistently operate in the upper 90s or higher, as Misiorowski has missed several starts this month due to cramps. Furthermore, his career high in innings pitched as a professional is 97 3/4, and he is on track to surpass that total this season. Despite these health considerations, Misiorowski is currently viewed as a pitcher worth appreciating, provided he remains healthy. Brewers starting pitcher Jacob Misiorowski delivered a dominant performance against the Chicago Cubs during the first inning of a game at Wrigley Field on Tuesday, May 19, 2026, showcasing unprecedented pitching velocity. The matchup immediately drew attention due to Misiorowski's formidable reputation. Fans recalled his previous All-Star selection last season, where he earned recognition despite limited starts, and his appearances in playoff victories against the Cubs. This season, however, Misiorowski is reportedly pitching at a speed and frequency never before witnessed in the major leagues. Cubs manager Craig Counsell was approached by a Sun-Times correspondent seeking comment on the visitors' fearsome reputation. Counsell described Misiorowski as throwing at velocities that had not been seen from a starting pitcher recently, acknowledging that the pitcher who throws the hardest is likely to be labeled a freak in the game. Misiorowski's velocity is described as comparable to Audubon driving, averaging 99.6 mph on his fastball entering the game. His performance metrics underscore his dominance. Stats analyst Mike Petriello noted that Misiorowski had thrown 233 pitches of 100 mph or faster entering the game, significantly outpacing the combined total of other major league starting pitchers. In the game itself, Misiorowski dominated, allowing just 4 runs over 6 innings and accumulating 8 strikeouts. His first 6 pitches to Nico Hoerner clocked in the 101 mph range. The Cubs' offense struggled significantly, managing only a single in the 4th inning and a single in the 5th. Further cementing his historic status, OptaStats recorded that Misiorowski is the first pitcher since 1901 to achieve a stretch of 4 starts with 30-plus strikeouts, 0 runs allowed, and no extra base hits. Petriello asserted that based on nearly 2 decades of tracked velocity, data showing a steady upward trend, Misiorowski is almost certainly the hardest-throwing starter in baseball history, surpassing legends like Walter Johnson and Nolan Ryan. Despite the overwhelming pitching performance, the Cubs' offense struggled to generate meaningful results against the velocity. Chicago Cubs center fielder Pete Crow-Armstrong has been issued an undisclosed fine following an interaction with a fan at Rate Field. Sources familiar with the matter confirmed the penalty on Tuesday. The incident occurred during the 5th inning of the Cubs' loss to the White Sox, where Crow-Armstrong was heckled by a fan. Crow-Armstrong issued an apology on Monday, expressing regret over his choice of words during the exchange with a female fan. He stated that he regretted using vulgarity and expressed concern about how the exchange might be perceived by younger fans on social media. An extensive investigation was reportedly unnecessary, as Crow-Armstrong admitted his involvement in the incident. The action aligns with standard team policy, which allows for fines or suspensions for personnel engaging in negative interactions with fans, such as the instance where Crow-Armstrong failed to make a catch against the wall in right center field. This follows similar disciplinary actions in the past, with Pirates players Tommy Pham and Dennis Santana both being fined and suspended last season for similar fan interactions. Crow-Armstrong avoided suspension this time and has committed to improving his conduct moving forward. He emphasized the need to be more respectful and use kindness instead of mirroring the intensity of others' behavior. The Chicago Cubs are facing an offensive hurdle as the team's popular cleanup hitter, Ian Happ, has shown a significant weakness in recent weeks, coinciding with a slump in the team's overall offense. While Happ has demonstrated power early in the season, his performance in high-leverage situations has been disappointing. With 10 home runs recorded before the end of May, Happ has solidified his role as the team's cleanup hitter. However, expectations for a number 4 hitter include producing with runners in scoring position, an area where Happ has fallen short. Across 66 plate appearances with runners in scoring position, Happ has logged a .151 batting average, a .318 on-base percentage, and a .283 slugging percentage. Compounding the issue, the 31-year-old is striking out nearly 40% of the time in these scenarios. Happ has become the definition of a 3-outcome hitter for the Cubs this season, relying on walks. This strategy becomes problematic when the veteran left fielder becomes too selective. The immediate fix suggested for the Cubs is to move Happ down in the batting order, but this presents a replacement dilemma. Seiya Suzuki is the likely candidate to step into the cleanup role, yet Suzuki has struggled even more in these situations. Over 48 plate appearances with runners in scoring position, Suzuki has recorded a .122 average, a .229 on-base percentage, and struck out over 41% of the time. This recent performance highlights a strategic consideration regarding manager Jed Hoyer's lineup construction. Hoyer appears to favor lineup length over acquiring a premium slugger capable of hitting 40 home runs annually. While this approach has baseball rationale, it leaves the Cubs vulnerable to offensive downturns. When the offense falters, the team lacks a clear, immediate solution outside of hoping for player performance to revert to expectations.